Good evening again, everyone. This is the second video to this older adult PowerPoint presentation. I left off with the discussing the biopsychosocial factors or events that may have facilitated and/or inhibited the resolution of the psychosocial crisis. We last left off with eventually my grandmother was able to get active with DPW benefits, welfare. And also her church and family played a major role in helping her, overcome this traumatic event in her life. She eventually did end up getting access to Social Security disability, in which she had to go to court 3 times, in which she was denied. It was at that time when she went to court several times, where she suffered a heart attack, and which afterwards she was hospitalized, and then eventually she recovered from that, and that's when the government finally realized that she, was disabled, and that pretty much that she needed to get active on Social Security disability. Talking to my grandma about this traumatic event in her life, as I mentioned in an earlier slide, that, I always asked her, like, Grandma, how did you make it through, this tough time? She said, she relied heavily on her spirituality. My grandma is a devout Christian, Baptist. It's the denomination, and she just always knew. She said, I always felt that the Lord was going to take care of me regardless of, the circumstances. And she said, that kept her grounded and, really helped her to, overcome a lot of the issues that she was dealing with in her life. One of the articles that I chose for my annotated bibliography, highlighted the importance of spirituality among African Americans, male and females. And, really touched upon the basis that, how important, religion, spirituality, plays in, African American culture. So my grandma said she relied upon this heavily. My grandma said, prior to her actually getting on disability, like I said, when I said that she did what she had to do, meaning like, she was already on welfare, receiving welfare benefits. I believe she was receiving cash assistance and food stamps. And she said that was like bringing in the total of $82 a month. She said pretty much it wasn't enough to, raise a family of 4. So my grandma said she did what she did best, and she said she began to cook for people, and she served like platters. And platters of food with fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, cornbread, so on and so forth. My grandma said she did this for a number of years. She also had a speakeasy, which is pretty much is like a social element where you sell alcoholic beverages to, people within the community. You don't have a liquor license per se, but she said, this is how she got by. She sold food. She ran a speakeasy. She said she also ran numbers. This is not stuff that she was proud of, but, my grandma, said, she just had to do what she had to do. Be resilient and, rely upon herself, given the fact that, pretty much, she tried all the ins and outs of everything, as far from a legal standpoint of doing what she needed to do, but it just didn't work out in her favor. So, she did what she had to do. So I found that, quite interesting, because I didn't know that aspect, that's what my grandma did to survive, to help, take care of herself and her children. So I thought that was, really, really interesting. Moving on to the next slide. In this project, we were also told to identify and apply. Okay, wait. Oh, let me back up a second. We had to include how oppression may shape the interview's life expression. Um, Given the example that I just gave, I would say that you know you have to understand the time that my grandma grew up, and they just weren't handing out Social Security disability checks. They pretty much really had to really, show and prove that you were disabled. I mean, it was unfortunate in my grandma's situations. I mean, because she really was disabled. It wasn't like she was trying to get over. One of the things my grandma said in her interview, she said, Reese, which is my nickname for short for Maurice. She said, she always enjoyed work, and that was one thing that she enjoyed doing. It really gave her a sense of, you know, uh, pride, that she was able to work and take care of herself and her family, so on and so forth. So I would guess that she said, just the fact that she was so oppressed at, not being able to just have access to those benefits right then and there, when it was clear that she wasn't able to work, so on and so forth. Um, we was also asked to apply a multi-system lens to examine how family, community, institution, and large society and social policy and forces help to hinder interviewee life aspiration opportunity. Like I just said, eventually, my grandma was able to get access to Social Security disability, which in turn helped her her reliance on her church family, so on and so forth. And also her reliance on herself too. Like, throughout all of this, my grandma, constantly made reference, like, she said, I just knew that I had to do what I had to do to make sure that my children were okay and that I was okay. Um, which leads me into my next point, where we're supposed to identify one theoretical perspective that sheds light on the aspect of interviewee's life. I chose the humanistic perspective because I felt like it really, captured the essence of what, my grandma's life experience was. Is she just, throughout all of that, she just knew that she had to continue to push through and really rely on herself and thrive. I think Rogers defines it in the Human Behavior book, quoted 2013, that human beings are resilient, and despite the circumstances, they just continue to thrive. This perspective focuses on the ways that people view life and being. It emphasizes people's roles in shaping their own experience. It posits that each person has the potential for healthy and creative growth. And that this perspective also is that is no predetermined patterns of personality development. Subjective views on life help shape personality and experiences, which are feelings, values, and perceptions surrounding them. Like I said, this perspective, captures the essence of what my grandma was talking about, and understanding what was going on at the time, and that she knew that she had to create a way to make ends meet so that she can continue to survive and do what she needed to do. The best way I can sum that up is like, I would say that, a lot of people that aren't African American wouldn't know like how we have survived through all the turmoil that, our race has been subjected to over the years. And it's that humanistic perspective that enables us to continue to survive, despite the odds that are placed in front of us. So I thought this, theoretical perspective really captured the essence of my grandmother's story. Moving right along to the next slide. The limitations to this theory is that it's not based on coherent theory of personality, and then it espouses vague ideas and concepts that are not easily defined. So pretty much I summed that up as that you can't fully gauge, someone's personality, how their personality is going to develop. More so, it's the resilience that the person has, or the state of their mental health. Like throughout all of this, my grandma continuously said that she just had positive mental health. She just knew that she just had to make a way. And it's like, it's something that that element, you just can't gauge. It's just like, she just knew that she had to keep on thriving despite, having all physical limitations, despite having multiple strokes and a heart attack, despite, having death around her, so on and so forth, is that she just knew that despite what's going on around her, that she had to continue to make a way for herself. And just as even I spoke to her, my grandma was in the hospital for 3 days, and I was like, well, Grandma, how are you doing? And she was just like, she said, Reese, I'm not going to complain. I got this going on, I got that going on. But she said, you know what? I'm okay. I'm still able to function. I'm still able to cook. So I'm going to, continue to keep on keeping on. Nothing is going to keep me down. And I think, that's just her, grounded sense of personality that, she done been around the block a couple times and she understands that, look, I'm going to keep on thriving regardless of the circumstance. So that's my grandma in a nutshell. To the next PowerPoint. These are my references. I highlighted one, spirituality among African American, which, I said my grandma really, really relies on her spirituality to help her get through all, the turmoil that she has been through, in her life. Another article, more or less, me in the past, present, and future, perceived lifetime personality during adulthood, was another one, in which it just really talks about the cognitive development over time. And then I chose the chronic physical conditions and aging, and then is mental health a potential protective factor against aging? And I think that one is true because throughout all of that my grandma was going through, she had positive mental health and just knew that she just wasn't going to let it get her down. And then quoted a few things from Rogers, Human Behavior in the Social Environment. This is my PowerPoint presentation. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as I enjoyed presenting to you. I did the best that I can do. Looking forward to hearing any of your questions, your concerns about my presentation, your likes, your dislikes. I'm open to, criticism to try to, get this better. Doing this project, I've seen that it's just hard to try to squeeze so much information into like a 30-minute time frame. And I noticed that the more and more I talk, it's just like the time is just rolling. But again, I'm looking, forward to feedback. I thought this was a really good exercise. Hopefully I'm looking forward to, doing this project again, maybe even on a bigger scale. But this was a really good event, and I actually learned a lot from this class. Theoretical perspectives on development, and it actually makes me look at my life in a sense, and how I'm going to be in years to come. But human behavior, this is really like a dynamic class. This is my presentation, everybody. Looking forward to hearing from you, professor, and the class as a whole, and looking forward to your feedback. Thank you. This is Maurice Whitaker signing out. Have a good evening. Thank you.